Now, if you live in Florida, you might have heard of a town called Oklawaha, but did you know that at one point in time in their history, they had their own people? But look, don't worry. No, don't do that, because I did some digging. Let's get into it. Now, to start things off, I gotta start it off with the natives, all right? This area of Florida, Oklawaha, it was very popular amongst the tribes. And the reason is because this river was full of fish and there was plenty of hunting that could be done in the area. Now, the word Oklawaha means mud, all right? And this whole area along the river, it was nothing but muck, nothing but mud. But the people that were hunting here, fishing here, they got used to it. Matter of fact, they ended up living right along the bank of this river. Now, after years and years of, these tribes living along this river, they start to get a name for themselves. And the name is the people of the Oklawaha, basically saying the people of the mud. Now, fast forward a little bit, all right? After the natives, because they were doing things, early here in Florida. But, Spanish came in, started colonizing. Y'all already know how that went. But this area, all right, of Florida, nobody could do anything with it, all right, because it was so mucky. So they just leave it untouched for a very, very long time. But in the 1800s, this area starts to get a little bit more busy, all right? More people are settling in Florida. But this river right here, okay, Oklawaha, they're noticing that it's a good route to get to where they're trying to get to in Florida. So it becomes basically like a highway. Now, not only was this river, a highway at this time, because throughout the 1800s, they were using it to bring in goods and products and things like that. Because the thing is, this river, all right, also connects with the St. Johns River down in Palatka. And both of these rivers flow north. Now, this was huge, all right, for the Oklawaha area, because now people are settling, all right, things are coming in, money is being made. All right, people need to be there. So this now is like a small community of people who live in. Now, around 1860, they started building docks along this river, all right, all 74 miles of it. And the reason why they did that is because around this time in Florida, steamboats, they were becoming a big thing. Now, from 1860 all the way up into 1920, all right, steamboat tours were a huge thing on this river. Matter of fact, some say that this was probably one of the first attractions that Florida had. Now, these were a hit, all right? But they needed something for these to go smoothly, all right? And that was the person driving the boat, okay? It needed to be a black person. Remember what I said, people were living, on this river for, decades before these boat tours start. And majority of those people, they were black people, all right? So they knew this river back and forth, up and down, sideways, every turn. They knew everything about this river. Now, most of the settlers in this area of Oklawaha, they were freed slaves at the time, all right? And when these boat tours came around, it was perfect for them because they could make a little bit of money. Slavery's over. And these boat tours, they needed them, all right? Because they were the only people who knew these, these little rivers and these little creeks like the back of their hand. Matter of fact, y'all remember the story of Commodore Rose. Her slave master, all right, his boat blew up. She saved his life, all kind of stuff. So he ends up freeing her, giving her 2 boats. And she ends up using those boats on the St. John and the Oklawaha River to bring freed slaves from the north to the south. Also, just want to throw this in here, then we're going to move on. But Commodore Rose, at this time, she was the only female black captain of a boat. And she had 2 of them. There's not a lot of information on her, but shout out to Commodore Rose. Now, like I said, these boat tours went up until like the 1920s, but shortly after that, you started getting gas boats, all right? And they stopped doing the steamboats, but they started doing the jungle tour boats. When you go over to Silver Springs, see the monkeys and stuff like that. And that's still going on today. And not only do you have the, boat tours, they got the glass bottom boat, little canoes you could take. And then you can, canoe yourself up and down the river, which is pretty cool. If you, get an opportunity to do this, do it. All right, one more thing before I get out of here, all right? I got to talk about it because it don't get talked about enough, all right? So in 1860, the area of Oklawaha, Marion County, they had over 100 slave masters, okay? But when 1865 came around, when they freed the slaves, shortly after, in 1868, they made M.A. Clontz the sheriff of Marion County, and he was black, all right? But The sheriff after him, he was black as well. Matter of fact, the governor of Florida at the time said, look, I'm going to put out about 10 black sheriffs because I want to change up what's going on in the area of Florida. Also, the governor was like, look, we're not just going to stop at the sheriff. So they elected about 10 politicians in the area as well because they knew that they couldn't just stop things just with the sheriff. They had to actually get some laws in place, to help out black people. So shout out to, Oklawaha, Marion County. Y'all did your thing. Now look, I don't know what y'all going to do to remember this. Like it, comment, share it. I don't know, but the more you know. Peace.